Good morning and welcome to my show. I'm your host, Danny Graham, and I both invite and encourage you to walk with me on the road to wisdom. It's TGF, y'all. Let's walk. TGIF, thank goodness, thank God it's Friday, whichever one you want to use. That's what it is today. Thank you for joining my show. I'm your host, Danny Graham. Let's get to walking. Now, today, as you can see, the title is Don't Give Up, don't quit, don't give up. And now, if we look at the definition of quit at its base form, it is to leave a place usually on a permanent basis. Now, there's another definition I want to use, and it's a more biblical definition. In the Bible, it says to quit means to be relieved of responsibility, to relieve a responsibility, to leave somewhere permanently, and to be relieved of responsibility. Now, what I'm going to talk about today is mainly quitting your job or your profession, or quitting on your family, or quitting on hostile situations that you may find yourself in. Now, God puts us in hostile situations. Well, first of all, sometimes we put ourselves in hostile situations. A lot of times, and sometimes, God puts us in hostile situations for a couple of reasons. Well, one reason is He's teaching us something, and then He's testing us. He's going to put us in a hostile situation to strengthen us and to see whether or not we're going to be able to adhere to His teaching, His doctrine, and see whether or not we're going to learn from it. A lot of times, God too puts us in hostile situations because we've lost connection with Him. We fail to pray to Him. We pray to ask Him for stuff. We don't have a relationship with God. So God's going to put us in a hostile situation in hopes that we will turn to Him. And sometimes people do, and sometimes people don't. To me, um, being in a hostile situation and having the option to choose God to help you is like having a headache and you go into your medicine cabinet and you got a cabinet full of different things to help with pain relief. You got Tylenol, you got aspirin, you got Bayer, you got Excedrin, you got um, a number of things sitting there, but you're going to just go and let that headache keep throbbing, keep throbbing, and keep throbbing instead of reaching in the cabinet and getting one of those pain relievers and taking it and getting some relief. That's the same way when people go through a hostile situation and choose not to ask God for help. Oh, it'll see itself through. It'll work itself out. I don't want to do anything. I'm just going to keep my head down. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do that. And without asking God, who could definitely alleviate any hostile situation that we find ourselves in. Now, some things when I have observed people that are in hostile situations from the outside looking in, that sometimes their joy seems to be stolen. The hostile situation that they're in is so severe, it is so taxing, and it's so stressful that they lose their joy. You can visibly see the joy that they once had is no longer there, and they're just kind of going through the motions. It's kind of like that commercial, if you remember, about Dunkin' Donuts, where the guy gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning and he says, "It's time to make the donuts. It's time to make the donuts." He's going through the motions. There's no more joy in making the donuts. There's no more joy in him getting up and go to work. He's just doing it out of habit and necessity. That sometimes when you're in a hostile situation, especially at work or especially at home or especially in whatever habitat you're in, when it steals your joy, that can be very, very hard for a friend or a loved one to look at. But I see it every day. Another thing is what makes people feel like environments are hostile is people that they work with or once worked with, or new people that come in aren't trustworthy. You think you tell them something to do something, and they seem to go behind your back and twist your words and talk about you and put you down, and then into your face they're laughing and smiling like, "Hell yeah, I like you," da, 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 but really they're just trying to cut your throat. And when you feel like you don't have trust in someone that's on your team, or someone that's your supervisor, or someone that's your family member, your spouse, your friend, a so-called friend, that can definitely make you want to quit and give up. But you can't let that happen. You got to keep persevering. Another thing too is that can make people that want to quit and give up is that people in their team are selfish. You yourself, who's going through the hostile environment at this particular time, you're not a very selfish person. You want to do things right. You want to carry your fair share of the load. But other people on your team that's supposed to be helping you are selfish. They're only doing things to benefit themselves. And that too can make you want to just quit and give up. But you got to keep persevering. You got to keep asking God for help. Another thing I've seen too is sometimes people that come into your team don't know how to talk to you. They just talk to you any kind of way. If they get mad, if they get upset, if they don't like something you do, they don't come into you and talk to you like you're a grown person or try to talk to you diplomatically. What they do is just talk, say, this way it's going to be, blah, 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 blah. If you don't like it, there's a door. Or I'm not doing it that way. We're doing it this way. And don't give you a chance to even express yourself because your opinion, your idea could actually be just as good or better than theirs. But because they are the supervisor or they're the lead person on whatever project, or they're the person at home, or whatever the case may be, when you try to talk to them and tell them something, they don't want to hear it because they don't know how to talk to you. Don't have people skills. That's another thing that can make you sometimes just want to quit and give up, but you can't. You got to keep persevering. Another thing too is that people a lot of times are arrogant. You've been here in the trenches. You've been here on the job. You've been in the family. You're the patriarch. You're the matriarch of the family. You know what's going on, but people come in that don't know anything or coming in after the fact and not really surveying the land, not really reading the tea leaves. They come in and try to tell you what to do or change things up that's working. They are trying to reinvent the wheel, so to speak, but they're so arrogant because they think they're the smartest person in the room. They think that their way is the only way, their way is the best way. And again, sometimes that makes you want to quit and give up when you're just dealing with somebody day after day, week after week, year after year that is so arrogant and won't listen to you or think that your idea is less than theirs. That's one thing. Another thing that can make some people just want to quit and give up, but you can't. You got to persevere. And some of the last things that really pushes people over that make people want to quit and give up is that they feel that they're not appreciated. You've been here, you've been in the trenches, you've been in this family, you've been in this situation, you've been this good friend, but the other person is not reciprocating that same thing, and they're taking you for granted. And then if you keep going through all that, then you pile on they're taking your joy, then you pile on top of that, they're selfish, and pile on top of that, they're arrogant. You pop, and you top on, and you pop on top of that, that they don't appreciate you. Then that would make anybody with any kind of pride sometimes want to quit and give up, but you can't quit and give up. That's when you got to dig in. That's when you got to ask God. God, like I said earlier, sometimes puts us in situations to make us turn to Him. Sometimes we just choose to ignore. Sometimes when we have that headache, we get all the medication in that cabinet. We don't want to listen to it. We don't want to use it. We don't want to take it. No, I'm just going to let the headache subside on its own, and you needlessly are in pain and suffering when you have the medication in the medicine cabinet to alleviate that headache. Your medicine in this situation, in this hostile environment, is God. Pray to Him. He will give you the strength either to endure it, or sometimes He may move that obstacle. He may move that hostile element in that environment out of it. But if you don't ask, then guess what? Sometimes you don't receive. I always tell my boss this: that look, if I ask you for it, I may possibly get it. But if I don't ask you for it, I probably won't get it. So if you ask God for help, most likely He's going to give it to you. But if you don't ask for it, then guess what? Sometimes He's just going to sit there and say, look, you need to lean on me. You need to turn to me, but I can't force it down your throat. You're going to have to want it. You're going to have to ask. So don't quit. Don't give up, especially if you haven't asked God for your strength and for wisdom and for perseverance to get through these hostile environments that life throws at you. And before I want to read a verse out of chapter, the book of James, the first chapter, the 12th verse, and it reads as follows: Blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial, for what he has stood for when he has stood the test of time, he will receive the crown of life which the Lord has promised to them that love Him. Let's say that one more time. The book of James, the first chapter, the 12th verse. Blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial, for when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life which the Lord has promised to them that love Him. That's very strong. If you just stand the test of time, just be steadfast. God promised you certain things. If you steadfast and you loyal to Him, you steadfast, you loyal to Him, you lean on Him, He is going to reward you. He is going to remove you out of that hostile environment, or He's going to remove that element that's in that hostile environment that's bothering you. I definitely believe in that 1,000%. The last thing I want to say is a quote that ties into this topic today. And that quote is, never give up. Today is hard, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine. If you have that mentality and you think that way and you lean on God, I definitely believe that God will lead you to a better day. That's just my 2 cents on this topic. I hope that what I said resonate with you this morning. If this is your first time ever seeing my channel, I want you to please subscribe to the channel. I want you to hit that notification bell because I don't want you to miss any material that I upload. Also, hit that like button. Just give me a like button. It doesn't take any effort. It doesn't take any money. It doesn't cost you anything to hit that like button. And also share this video with your friends and family. I want to try to increase my reach of God, of spreading God's word. And last but not least, please watch my videos from the start to the finish. That also helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Today is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. And guess what? Thank God I'm off today. I took the day off. I'm going to enjoy the day. And I hope that this leads into a very enjoyable weekend. I hope you have a very enjoyable weekend as well. Until next time, until Monday morning, take it easy. Have a safe and glorious weekend. And as always, God bless you.
Danny Graham, he speaks so clear. Love thy neighbor, hold them dear. Bible wisdom every day. God's own path, the only way. On the road to wisdom right. Follow God through darkest night. Bible's words are guiding light. Marching forward with his might. Hear the stories from above. Jesus' power, purest love. Trust in him no matter fall. Grace is here for one and all. Oh, with his might. Oh. On the road to wisdom bright. Follow God through darkest night. Bible's words are guiding light. Marching forward with his might.